So, ready na ba tayo guys? Ready na ba? Are we ready for tonight's class? Are we ready to learn? Ready? Gina kayo ha? G. So yeah, ano lang, pag mute nyo lang yung selves niyo para hindi ma-distract yung inyong classmates. So, yes. We are gonna start na. So, syempre yung unang lesson natin, kita nyo sa What Did I Miss? Kung hindi nyo alam. And then here, kasi ito, very important to when it comes to, syempre, yung client works natin. And if you don't know how you will save yung artworks ninyo, so we need to understand which are the proper or yung correct na file formats for your artworks or your images, ganun. So, next slide. So, here it is. Ito yung overview ng image file formats. Naka-ano na siya. Naka-separate. So, merong raster images and then there's vector images. So, nandito na yung overview. So, ito yung matututunan natin ngayon. Like raster images, pixel-based graphics, resolution-dependent, photos, and web graphics. So, under niyan is JPEG, GIF. Ano bang basa niyan? GIF or GIF? Alam mo, dami nag-aaway dyan. So, ako siguro GIF. GIF na lang ako. GIF po. Meron naman GIF. Ewan ko sa kanila. Bahala sila. GIF. Sabi nila GIF, may GIF. So, yan. And then PNG, TIFF, or TIFF, RAW, and PSD under sa raster images, and then vector images under no file formats noon, PDF, EPS, AI, tsaka SVG. And also, we have to keep in mind yung image color formats, which is CMYK and RGB. So, itatakal natin this tonight. So, ready na ba tayo? Good evening, guys. Si Arcel. So, next. So, what is the difference of raster and vector? So, we have to know that kasi para alam natin yung appropriate na bibigay natin for our client, ganon. Or at least yung artwork na gagawin natin. So, first is yung raster, are made up of a set grid of dots called pixels, where each pixel is assigned a color. So, yung pixels na kunyari sa screen natin, ito, like this, itong PowerPoint ko na presentation. So, yan, sa pinaka like maliit-liit niyan, may pixels yan. So, katumbas niya ng pixels. And then, there is vector, or digital artwork in which points, lines, and curves are calculated by the computer. So, which is yung popular na program or application for that is Adobe Illustrator. So, Adobe Illustrator is like a vector-based application. So, yun, tatakil din natin yan. So, okay naman, no? Gets natin? So, raster made of pixels, and then vector is like calculated by the computer. Kumbaga yung image or like shapes, images are calculated by the computer. So, next. So, ito, difference ng raster. So, pag yung raster images, pag zoom mo, ito 100%, di ba? Parang okay pa. So, very, very clear naman siya. Hindi naman siya pixelated. Pero, pag zoom mo siya in like 300%, at least yung hindi na kinakaya i-process nung image, nagpe-pixelate na siya. Diba? You see here? So, yun nga, yung I always remind everyone din na when you pick a photo or at least like kunyari an image to use, as much as possible high resolution para di ka mahirapan i-manipulate or at least i-crop, ganun. So, kasi pag pixelated, mahirapan ka i-crop siya. So, and at least ang size niya is hanggang dun lang. And then next, there is like vector. So, ito 100%, same lang naman sila. Pero, pag zoom mo, di siya nagpipixelate. Kasi, pinaprocess ng computer na kapag zoom mo, re-retain niya pa rin yung quality. And like, yung quality niya is yung maximum quality, high quality talaga. So, wala kang makikitang pixels. So, itong vector, usually, recommended siya when you make logos. Kasi para may kumbaga ma-resize mo yung logos ng client, ganun. So, easier to resize. So, next. So, tackle natin yung raster. So, unlike a vector image, raster images are resolution dependent, meaning they exist at one size. So, kumbaga, kapag na-save nyo yung isang image nyo, so one size lang siya, di ba? So, hindi siya, if ever na i-resize nyo pa siya ng higher resolution, pero na-save nyo na siya dyan, mapipixelate na siya. Unless, i-downsize mo yung image, it's okay. Pero pag may certain lang kasi syempre, maximum, yun na yung sinave mo na resolution ng image mo, tapos nilakihan mo, pinapa-resize sa'yo na mas malaki, hindi pwede yun kasi magiging pixelated na siya. So, when you transform a raster image, you stretch the pixels themselves, which can result in a pixelated or blurry image. When you enlarge an image, your software is essentially guessing at what image data is missing based on the surrounding pixels. So, meron din ako notice na, syempre sa works, na um, yun nga, yung mga ibang images na nilagay nila, pixelated, or syempre, pag ni-resize, pixelated na siya. So, as much as possible, search for a bigger or higher resolution for the image. Para hindi din pangit tignan or wala nang consistency doon sa itsura nung magiging post nyo or ad, ganun. So, keep in mind lang yun. Then, so under niyan, syempre, meron like image color formats. So, you have to know this kasi para alam nyo kung ano yung for print and alam nyo din yung for digital. So, dalawang colors yan. Image color like format. So, all raster images can be saved in one or two primary color models, CMYK and RGB. So, ito, kita niyo yung color dito. So, nilagyan ko talaga siya ng basis ng color. So, CMYK, a four-color printing process that stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and key, or known as black. These colors represent the four inks that will be combined during the printing process. Files saved in this format will be optimized for physical printing. So, napansin nyo, diba, pag sa mga printing, if na-notice nyo, diba meron yung printer nila parang apat na parang cartridges or like ink sa side. So, yun yung ink nila, CMYK. So, pag yung image nyo or like yung material nyo, like kunyari flyer, ganun, tapos ipapaprint nyo, dapat yung color format nung file nyo is CMYK para optimized yung colors niya. So, kung ano yung nakikita mo sa screen, at least magta-translate sa print. So, yung colors niya. So, usually, slight lang naman difference when you switch. So, I will show you later. Kumbaga, medyo nilalighten niya yung colors para for printing. And then, here's like RGB. Is a light-based color model that stands for red, green, and blue. These are the three primary colors of light that combine to produce other colors. Files saved in this format will be optimized for the web, mobile phones, film, and video, anything that appears on the screen. So, yun. So, lagi natin take note, CMYK for printing, RGB is for digital. Gets ba guys? Gets? Ano naman, comment down below sa chat. Gets naman natin, no? Okay lang po ba na-convert ang PSD file? Yes, pwede naman. Yes. Yun. So, if may questions ba? Regarding sa ano sa tong sa dinidiscuss natin. So, para ano tayo? Kapag walang questions, we can move on. So, ano ba? Okay na ba tayo? Countdown? Countdown na? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's go na. Okay na po. Yes, there you go. Yan. Note to self. So, ito naman, keep in mind, lossy versus lossless. Alam ko, kasi kailangan natin malaman to. Para, even though parang, nakaka-overwhelm, parang daming ano. Pero, don't you worry, kasi record naman to. And, you can watch naman in your own pace. So, may lossy versus lossless. Each raster image file is either lossless or lossy, depending on how the format handles your image data. Lossless image formats capture all of the data of your original file. Nothing from the original file, photo, or piece of art is lost, hence the term lossless. The file may still be compressed, but all lossless formats will be able to reconstruct your image to its original state. So, ayan, ibig sabihin, parang, even though manipulate mo siya, kasi since yung file format niya is, di ba, created to be resized in a way na hindi maglo-lose yung quality niya. So, merong ganong format, lossless image. And then, there's lossy image. Formats approximate what your original image looks like. For example, a lossy image might reduce the amount of colors in your image or analyze the image for any unnecessary data. These clever technical tricks will typically reduce the file size, though they may reduce the quality of your image. So, typically, lossy files are much smaller than lossless files, making them ideal to use online where file size and download speed are vital. So, yun, take note din natin yun. Kasi, even though di naman lagi need lossless image when it comes to posting, ganyan, most likely yan if you are going to, of course, like, do some templates for your client, yung for their social media, mas maganda yung high quality yung bibigay natin. And then, of course, if i-resize nila yun, or ikaw mag-resize, at least ikaw, hindi ka mahirapan. Pero if you're gonna send lang, ganon, it's okay na kahit hindi naman sobrang laki nung file size nung, or at least yung quality, hindi naman lagi dapat ganon. So, kasi, syempre yung, when you send, and when, dito lalo na sa Philippines, ang bagal ng internet, so, minsan nagreklamo na sila sa malalaking file size. So, yun. Take note din natin yun. Here you go. So, under ng raster file formats, yun nga kanina, is JPEG, GIF or GIF, PNG, TIFF, RAW, and PSD. So, take note natin to guys. Take note. Inom muna ako. Hydrate guys. So, next. So, ito, i-discuss natin isa-isa para ma-understand natin kung anong klaseng raster file formats to. So, if this will apply to what you're doing, ganon. So, you will know na when you do client works, ito pala yung file format na need ko to send to the client. Like, the correct file format. So, JPEG or JPG is a lossy raster format, o lossy daw, di ba? That stands for Joint Photographic Experts Group, the technical team that developed it. So, dun yun nanggaling yung term na JPEG. This is one of the most widely used formats online. Di ba, pag nagsisave tayo sa web ng kung ano ng mga photos, kahit sa Facebook, di ba, JPEG ang labas. So, if napapansin nyo. Um, so, ito yung pinaka-common na format for images online. So, typically for photos, email graphics, and large web images like banner ads. JPEG images have a sliding scale of compression that decreases file size tremendously, but increases artifacts of or pixelation the more the image is compressed. So ito, may sample dito. So ito, no compression. So ito, yung original state niya. Pero syempre, to para maliitan yung file size, syempre nako-compress yung quality niya. So, nagiging mas malabo. Or, if you scale an image na, kunyari, sa state niya is ganito lang yung size niya, pero skinale mo pa mas malaki, it's either it will turn out ganito, blurred. Ganyan. So, yun yung difference. From, like, no compression for the images and high compression when it comes to files. Kasi kapag you're trying to, parang lower yung file size, you lower din yung quality ng image. So, may ganon na option sa Photoshop. So, later, demo natin kung paano mag-save ng mga iba't ibang file formats. Ngayon, discuss muna tayo. Ito. So, note to self. You should use a JPEG when you're dealing with online photos and or artwork. JPEGs offer you the most flexibility with raster editing and compression, making them ideal for web images that need to be downloaded quickly. So, yan guys, note nyo sa sarili nyo when you use JPEG. And then, when you want to print photos and or artwork at high resolution files with low compression, JPEGs are perfect for editing and then printing. So, usually, ako kasi since I work sa creative agency, we send JPEG files sa, kunyari, pag printing na sila kunyari, kasi I work for SM. Pero hindi ako like under like working SM pero creative agency. So, we send yung TARP lang for ads nila, yung mga banners nila. So, JPEG yung sinesend namin as final artwork. So, but if they want to, kunyari, if they ask for layered file, so, PSD yun. So, which is later matackle natin kung ano yung PSD. And then, ito, okay. Moving on, you need to send a quick preview image to a client. Yon, if you want to send like a quick preview JPEG, images can be reduced to very small sizes, making them great for emailing. So, nare-reduce din siya and may high quality din. So, yan yung uses ng JPEG. So, ito naman, don't use a JPEG when you need a web graphic with transparency. JPEGs do not have a transparency channel and must have a solid color background. GIF and PNG are your best options for transparency. So, later, yun nga, I'll show you bakit hindi siya pwedeng gawin. Pero ito nga sinasabi, hindi siya transparent kapag sinave mo. And then, here, you need a layered editable image. JPEGs are a flat image format, meaning that all edits are saved into one image layer and cannot be undone. Consider a PSD or a Photoshop document file for a fully editable image. So, kapag syempre, kinocompress na niya lahat or minimerge na niya lahat, yung nagawa mo sa Photoshop, so, pag sinend mo yan, ano lang siya, talaga, flat image. So, yun yan. Alam mo na yun, diba? Really obvious naman yun na, syempre, pag sinave natin as JPEG, hindi siya ma-edit. Unlike, kung ano yung na-edit natin sa Photoshop. So, yun. So, next. Next tayo. So, here, a GIF, GIF. GIF is a lossless raster format that stands for Graphics Interchange Format. GIF or GIF is also a widely used web image format, typically for animated graphics like banner ads, email images, and social media memes. Though GIFs are lossless, they can be exported in a number of highly customizable settings that reduce the amount of colors and image information, which in turn reduces the file size. So, ayan. So, nakikita niyo yung sample ko dito. Actually, ito yung mga ah, cheer motes ang tawag. Cheer motes na ginagamit ko sa stream ko. Kasi I stream on Twitch. So, gawa to. Pinagawa ko sa artist. So, yung GIF, may set lang siya ng ending, starting animation and ending animation. So, pwede siya i-loop. So, looping siya na moving images. 'Di ba? Animated. Either hindi loop na images, pwede din naman loop para seamless siya tignan. So, you can add those, of course, sa post. Tapos, meron pa nga sa mga Facebook yung mga GIF games na kapag pinindot mo, 'di ba, parang may pag pinindot mo gagalaw yung image tapos kailangan mo i-stop sa correct na position. 'Di ba may mga ganong GIF games. Tapos mga ano din, mga funny na tawag dito, memes tawag nila. Nakaka-catch up pa ba yung mga tao dito sa memes? Ano, alam ko, ano ba yung mga age range dito? Alam ko hindi naman lahat, 'di ba? Like may younger and then older or young at heart. So, yun. So usually yun yung trend ngayon is mga GIFs. Kahit sa mga social media post, if you want something na would catch yung eye ng kunyari ng audience or yung mga na nag-check sa social media. So, GIFs are um, loopable na animations. Kasi paulit-ulit siya. So, parang nakikita din ng tao na paulit-ulit din yung, yung message. Like, sa ad. Ganon. 30, may nagsabi talaga ng age yun. No? Paano paggawa ng GIF? Sige, tatakal. Yun ang inaisip ko itakal next. If hindi natin natakal ngayon yung templates. Kasi, that's the reason why I am tackling yung understanding image file formats para alam nyo na kung paano mag-export or at least gumamit ng template sa FreePic kasi you will use Illustrator for that. So alam ko hindi naman lahat born with like of course like creativity sa graphic design which is like from scratch ginagawa. So you can always use templates and then if you have an eye for layout or like yung design, at least, 'di ba? Ma-arrange mo sa Photoshop exporting from Illustrator kasi mga vector images usually ang nakukuha sa FreePic, mga EPS file. So, 'yun. So, next tayo. Ako, not sure sa Canva kasi hindi pa ako na-try mag-use ng Canva. Gusto ko nga, i-check out kasi nasanay talaga ako sa Photoshop ever since. So, yan. So, moving on. You should use a GIF or GIF when you want to create web animation. So, yan. Naka-highlight web animation. GIF images hold all of the animation frames and timing information in one single file. Image editors like Photoshop make it easy to create a short animation and export it as a GIF. And then, next, you need transparency. If you need transparency sa images nyo, GIF images have an alpha channel that can be transparent so you can place your image on any colored background. So, yun. So, usually, it's either, hindi kasi ako naglagay ng sample ng transparency ng GIF na animated din. Kasi possible din yun. Like, wala siyang background. Like, yung earlier dito, pwedeng wala siyang background, pero moving pa din siya. Diba? Parang outline lang ng icon. So, yun. And then, last, you need a small file. The compression techniques in the GIF format allow image files to shrink tremendously. For very simple icons and web graphics, GIF is the best image file format. Yun. So, like, mga little icons na, kasi, if you didn't notice, when you go to websites, yun, yung mga icons doon, most likely, gawa siya, like, isa-isa, and then, i-upload sa website, or at least ilalagay, i-embed siya sa website. So, yun, lahat ng nakikita nyo mga icons, yan. So, either GIF or PNG yung ginagamit na format for them to use and optimize siya sa web. And then, yeah. So, ito yung uses ng GIF. So, keep it in mind. And then, here naman, don't use a GIF when you need a photographic quality image. Though GIFs can be high resolution, they have a limit of 256 colors. Unless, sabi nga daw, a few tricks. Pero, yun ang pinaka-ano niya, limit niya. Photos typically have thousands of colors and will look flat and less vibrant. And sometimes, weird due to color banding when converted to GIF. So, ito, as you can see, parang, ako kung kita sa screen pero, may mga pixels siya, na parang red, green, blue, na maliliit, na nakikita ko dito. Hindi siya, hindi siya talagang clear na clear, pero parang may pixel siya. So, hindi lahat ng colors na handle niya, di clear, pero, nandun pa rin. And it makes like beautiful animations nonetheless. So don't expect na parang sobrang high quality na parang video type, pero ganyan ang format ng GIF. So, and then next, you need to print an image. So, if you're gonna print an image, don't use a GIF file format kasi for lang talaga siya, web, for digital use lang. Because of the color limit, most printed photos will lack depth. If you need to print photos, look at TIFF, TIFF, PSD, and JPEG. So, yun, keep it in mind, di siya pang print ang GIF. So, for digital siya. And then last, you need a layered, editable image. GIFs are a flat image format, meaning that all edits are saved into one image layered and cannot be undone. So, consider a PSD, yun pa rin. Consider daw Photoshop document if you want an editable image. Like, syempre, if you want something na, kunyari, papasa sa client, gusto niya, layered file gusto ko. So, at least meron kang Photoshop document. So, hindi siya for editing use yung format niya. So, next. Okay pa tayo, guys? Okay pa? We're catching up naman. Naintindihan pa naman natin? Yes, yes. When ba magiging, wala pa ba Kasi, ako I send lang, pero not sure, like, yung pag-upload nila, but I sent naman na yung last lesson ko. So, wait na lang talaga. So, wala talaga ako, parang knowledge about the uploading. Pero yes, please be patient na lang sa ating mga admins, sa QuickPro, sa web admins. So, yes. Okay, moving on, guys. Here, so PNG is a lossless raster format that stands for Portable Network Graphics. So, PNG. Think of PNGs as the next generation GIF. This format has built-in transparency, but can also display higher color depths, which translates into millions of colors. PNGs are a web standard and are quickly becoming one of the most common image formats used online. That is true. Kasi, for me din, when I post on social media, since, syempre, I stream, I usually use PNG format for, like, posting on, like, social medias, like, sa Facebook page, sa Twitter, and Instagram. Kasi built-in talaga siya for digital eh. Yung kumbaga yung colors niya um, mas optimized in a way for viewing for web. So ito, and also um when you look or search sa web, kunyari, sabi ko nga, yung tip ko nga sa mga students, like last time, for the first timers here, sabi ko, if you want, pag tinatamad ka mag-crop, and you can always find like images ng gadgets to download as PNG para hindi ka na para salpak mo na lang kagad sa Photoshop mo kasi hindi ka na magka-crop kasi ano na siya, crop na siya, transparent din. So, madali na siyang ipatong sa kahit anong layout. So, ito, 'di ba? Nakita niyo 'to, yung images na to, 'di ba butas yung dito. Kasi since optimized siya for like this, since kunyari binutasan niyo siya sa Photoshop and gusto mo transparent siya when it comes to isasalpak mo sa kahit ano na na post mo, at least ano na siya, ready na siya. So like ito, yung mga FBI ko na to, 'di ba? Usually pag sa mga post na social media sa businesses, they will always put yung mga contact bands or social media like yung bands na information sa post nila. So, nirecommend ko na gumagawa ng parang PNG format noon, band lang na yun. Para pag kailangan mo na sa isang post mo, para hindi mo na i-edit ulit, isasalpak mo na lang. So, save mo siya as PNG and salpak mo na lang lagi. So, easy na yun. Like sa mga logos, ganun din. Para easier siya isalpak kahit saan. So, hindi ka na magka-crop, ganun. Kasi, usually, pag sinesave mo as JPEG, automatically, nagsisave siya with the white background. Yun. So, yan, di ba? When you search for PNG, usually butas. Meron mga ganun. Pero, meron din mga PNG na mga file formats kasi to be optimized sa web yung mga post. Pero most commonly known sila as an image na transparent. So walang background like this. So yan. So, as a sample. So next. So you should use a PNG when you need high quality transparent web graphics. PNG images have a variable alpha channel that can have any degree of transparency, in contrast with GIFs that only have on and or off transparency. Plus, with greater color depths, you'll have a more vibrant image than you would with a GIF. So, even though si GIF, may option din siya na transparency, pero, kasi, di ba, sabi nga doon, limited lang yung colors ni GIF. Unlike ni PNG. So, high quality transparent web graphics, PNG is your file format. And then, second, you have illustrations with limited colors. Though any image will work, PNG files are best with a small color palette. So, yun, best sa small color palette din daw. And then, third, if you need a small file, PNG files can shrink to incredibly tiny sizes, especially images that are simple colors, shapes, or text. This makes it the ideal image file type for web graphics. So, sometimes, sa mga Mac users kasi meron kaming ginagamit sa office na parang resizing na app. And then, when we parang drag lang yung image doon, parang automatically na siya nagpa-process. Then, liliitan niya. Tapos, ang format niya is PNG. So, that's how we send then to clients. If we want like, of course, like smaller na file size para hindi mahirapan mag-load, or hindi ka mahirapan mag-upload when you're sending. So, PNG is good then. Yun. So, next. Sige, I'll answer your question in a bit. So, ito naman, don't use a PNG when you're working with photos or artwork. Thanks to PNG's high color depth, the format can easily handle high resolution photos. However, because it is a lossless web format, file size tend to get very large. If you're working with photos on the web, go with JPEG. So, yan. Um, so, yan. Since, di ba, yung high color depth niya, even though nakaka-handle siya ng high resolution na photos, um, di din siya, kapag gusto mo mag-work sa, like, working on your photos or artwork. Kasi, syempre, lossless nga siya. So, need natin, if it's like something like, of course, like photos, mas okay siya JPEG. But if it's like something na post lang, like ads, ganun, PNG is okay din. Pero usually, ang sinesend namin is JPEG talaga kasi yun talaga yung parang pinaka common na file format. But but then PNG is good to for like web banners ganyan kasi optimized yung colors niya for web. But yun nga, sabi, if it's like photos, of course JPEG is way to go. So, next, you're dealing with the print project. PNG graphics are optimized for the screen. You can definitely print the PNG, but you'd be better off with the JPEG or lossy or TIFF file. So, pag ito, if you're gonna print, kunyari magpapasa ka sa printers, PNG is not a good format for printing. So, JPEG pa din talaga. So, printing, JPEG, PNG is for web graphics. So, yes. How about WebP format? Usually kasi sa web yan eh. So, actually hindi siya talaga matatakel dito. More on, what you call this? More on in use sa Photoshop. And when you use Photoshop and Illustrator, so ito yung parang mga yung encounter mo na format. So, mas okay na at least malaman natin yung mga use. So, sa web, wala akong masyadong, like, familiarity kasi sa ako eh, sa ads talaga ako eh. So, yes. So, yung ganyan, later, sige, answer ko yan. But, yes, move on muna tayo para, para marami tayong matutunan tonight. And, syempre, ayoko din ma-hold yung time ninyo. So, yes, later naman, I'll entertain, like, questions related naman sa, of course, graphic design. But, entertaining questions sa topic natin ngayon. Later. Okay. Let's move on. So, TIFF naman is a lossless raster format that stands for Tagged Image File Format. Because of its extremely high quality, the format is primarily used in photography and desktop publishing. You'll likely encounter TIFF files when you scan a document or take a photo with a professional digital camera. Do note that TIFF files can also be used as a container for JPEG images. These files will be much smaller than traditional TIFF files, which are typically very large. So usually, although ito hindi masyado na-encounter, pero if you do, usually sa printing to, and if they want like high quality sa printing and para pag inedit, optimize siya to be like high quality printing, TIFF is usually the format to go. Like, pwede mo save siya sa Photoshop as TIFF for like mga printing na mga tarps, ganun, or like banners or billboards. So, TIFF is usually used for that. Para hindi usually kasi Photoshop na large document, meron ganun eh. I'll show you later. So, usually na-encounter ko to sa work ko, pero very less lang. kapag nakakakita ko ng mga pang-banners, pang-billboards na kunyari may opening yung SM, gano'n na mall, usually mga banners nila, yung ginagawa ng art director ko is TIFF yung ginagamit niyang format para sa pag-edit, like, or saving yung, para pag-print, maganda. So, yan. You should use a TIFF when you need high-quality print graphics. Yun nga, na-mention ko nga. Along with RAW, TIFF files are among the highest quality graphic formats available. If you're printing photos, especially at enormous sizes, use this format. Ano kaya ang enormous size? For sure, billboard. Yun, mga billboard size. If hindi naman siguro concern na parang na gusto nila high quality just to print lang, okay lang naman ganun. Pero if they want, kapag print nila as billboard and of course maganda yung quality, yun TIFF yung ni-use para for printing. And then you are making a high quality scan using TIFF to scan your documents, photos, and artwork to ensure that you have the best original file to work off of. So yan. And then, keep in mind, don't use a TIFF when you're working with web graphics. While many web browsers support it, TIFF files are optimized for print. Go with JPEG or PNG when you need to display high-quality images online. So, yon. Don't use the TIFF when working with web graphics. So, TIFF for printing. Printing siya. So, next. So, under pa rin tayo ng raster na image file format. So, ito yung mga under sa raster image file formats, guys. So, next is RAW. A RAW image format contains the unprocessed data captured by a digital camera or scanner sensor. Typically, images are processed, adjusted for color, white balance, exposure, or etc., and then converted and compressed into another format. Example given, JPEG or TIFF. Raw images store the unprocessed and processed data in two separate files, so you're left with the highest quality image possible that you can edit non-destructively with a photo editing application like Photoshop. There are dozens and dozens of RAW formats, but some of the typical formats are CRW, Canon, NEF, Nikon, and DNG Adobe. So, ito, yung RAW, ma-encounter niya if you are a photographer, ganyan. If you take photos with like DSLRs, some of the, of course, meron doon you can choose like yung kung anong file format niya paglabas. So, ang sinasabi dito, RAW is the best if you want to, of course, like, if you want to process yung images mo. And then, there's like, application, which is yung Adobe Lightroom for photos, for photo, like, enhancing ng colors. And if you want to edit yung, of course, yung photos mo, Lightroom is a good application. Okay din naman yung Photoshop, pero ang Lightroom is optimized for like photos, like from like taking photos sa DSLR, so photography. And yes, sige, answer ko yan later. And then here, you should use a RAW when you are shooting and editing photos. Yun nga. Make sure your camera is set to RAW so you can capture the most versatile image. Then use a compatible photo editing application to adjust your image, which is yun nga, yung Adobe Lightroom. Dun din ako familiar sa Adobe Lightroom. So, if you just want to adjust, kunyari, masyadong madilim yung photo, you can enhance naman dun. And then, to make the colors more vibrant, and if you have like a certain parang theme sa photography mo, either like gloomy or like gusto mo medyo happy, so you can adjust yung colors there with Adobe Lightroom. So next, don't use a RAW when you're working with web graphics. RAW is built for photo editing. When you're ready to present your photos for the web, convert them to JPEG. So, keep in mind then if you're, ano na, if you're finished na with the edits, you can save it as JPEG, yung RAW. And don't use a RAW when you're ready to print your photos. Many printers won't accept RAW formats, so first convert to JPEG or TIFF. Yun. So, especially siguro in TIFF, maybe yung mga banner size or if ipapa-blow up, I guess, or yung mga, di ba meron mga walls minsan na may mga scenery na ng photos. So, usually, if you print na ganun, TIFF is good. So, here, ito, question, sa t-shirt printing TIFF din po ba or okay lang JPEG? Okay lang naman JPEG. Kasi usually kasi yung TIFF is for yung super large talaga na file, like na format, like billboards, ganun. Usually, doon siya ginagamit. So, yes. And here, ito, ang PSD, since Photoshop ang ano natin, ang ating application na pag-aaralan. So, important na we save our works as a Photoshop document. So, PSD as a proprietary layered image format that stands for Photoshop document. These are original design files created in Photoshop that are fully editable with multiple layers and image adjustments. PSDs are primarily used to create and edit raster images, but this unique format can also contain vector layers as well, making it extremely flexible for a number of different projects. A PSD can be exported into any number of image file formats, including all of the raster formats listed above. So, di ba, diniscuss natin yung mga iba't ibang raster formats. So, ang PSD, it can convert a lot of file formats na kahit wala, marami actually na options, pero these are the like most common file formats that you will encounter. Kasi yung iba, most likely integrated siya sa ibang programs, which is not, we're not gonna discuss. Pero ito, this is something that you will apply then when it comes to doing like graphic design work, logo work, ganun. So, PSD, pwede din siya mag-contain ng vector layers, which is, I'm gonna show you later, paano maglipat ng mga vector elements sa PSD. So, here you go. You should use a PSD when it's time to retouch photos, need to color correct a photo, or add a layer of text. So, ayan. When you want to retouch photos, Photoshop is good. Kasi you can edit away. So, unlike if sa Lightroom, you can only adjust yung brightness, yung contrast, yung colors. Pero, kunyari, yung model ninyo, hindi flawless and ayaw ni client na, ay, may blemish si model. So, need tanggalin yon. So, Photoshop is a good editing tool for you to retouch yung face or anything na, minsan nga, meron ngang mga times, pinapapayat pa nga eh, yung iba, para ma-publish nila sa billboards. Kasi meron mga ganun na, kunyari, may onting flab yung, kunyari, may taba yung model, ayaw nung client, ganun. So, minsan, ine-edit din nila yun, pinapapayat nila. So, yun, pwede din yun, guys. If you want to, edit, kunyari, sarili nyo, kung gusto nyo makita, if yung maging itsura nyo pag ganito, ganyan, Photoshop din is a, great tool to use. 'Di ba? Retoke 'yon, nire-retoke nila yung photos. So, kaya guys, wag tayong malulungkot if nakikita natin sa banners, sobrang perfect nila ng mga models. Pero usually, nire-retouch yun. Hindi yun totoo. So, medyo isip-isip muna tayo, totoo ba yan? Minsan ganun, nung natuto ako mag-Photoshop, and then nalaman ko yung mga techniques na ganun, parang, iisip na tuloy ako, parang, totoo ba yan? Totoo kaya yung itsura niyan? Like, 100% natural ba yan or ano lang yan? Parang, you know, pang ano lang, pang sales or advertisement. Like, para syempre makapture yung audience. Ay, pag uminom pala ako ng gluta, ganun. Ganyan na agad ako, parang si Alden. Ganyan kaputi. So, usually, ine-edit na din nila yan. So, medyo ingat-ingat din tayo sa paniniwala. Kasi ngayon, alam na natin yung paggamit ng Photoshop. Kasi nare-retouch yung mga photos. Paturo sa kareto, okay? Next time, char. So, yun. Moving on, you need to edit artwork for digital or print. That could be a photo, painting, drawing, or anything else. Photoshop is the right tool to make sure every line, shadow, and texture is in place. So, Photoshop, you can do a lot. People do digital painting there. You can do matte paintings. Yung mga photo manipulation, yung mga background sa movies na akala mo moving, pero usually they edit that um, to look realistic. So, ang tawag doon mga matte paintings. Usually like mga patchy-patchy na mga photos na iba-iba tapos i-merge mo into into one image na akala mo parang nasa iisang scenery lang sila. So, usually, yan yung ginagamit nila to create matte paintings sa mga movies. Ganon. So, next. So, you want digital images for the web like social media images, banner ads, email headers, videos, etc. Creating these images in Photoshop will ensure they're right size and optimized for the web. So, yun nga. That's the reason why we're learning Photoshop kasi of course we want to of course like gain clients if you're under like social media. Of course you want to create ads or like post or maybe sa businesses ninyo. um, Photoshop is a great tool to use para makapag-edit ka or makapag-create ka ng mga social media images mo or banners for your ads. So yes, there you go. PSD. And then, you should use a PSD when you have to create a website or app mock-up. Hindi yung website mismo, guys, yung mock-up lang. Kumbaga, kunyari, siguro some of you are like web devs and then you have this creative ka din and you want, of course, yung pakita sa client mo na ito yung magiging itsura. You can use Photoshop to create yung mock-up mo. Like any mock-ups like of course like designs sa shirts, sa mugs, kung sa like packages, you can use Photoshop to create mock-ups for that. Layers make it easy to move UI elements around. So since 'di ba may layering system sa Photoshop, kung si client gusto niya ipa-move yung icon na yun, and then syempre you have a PSD, you can easily edit na lang. So like pag may revision si client sa mock-up mo, so it's easier to do kapag may PSD ka. So you should use a PSD when you want to get fancy with animation and video. Photoshop makes it easy to cut together simple video clips and add graphics, filters, text animation, and more. So, which is yung GIF or yung GIF, you can animate on Photoshop. You can use Photoshop. Meron animation tab there so you can create GIFs. So, most probably topic natin next week would be how to create a GIF sa Photoshop. For you to be able to post like a GIF format sa social media. Kunyari, mayroon kayong post na you want it animated. Siguro yung gusto nyo pakita sa client nyo na we could animate that, diba? To make it more look para mas parang mas ma-capture mo yung audience kasi syempre moving. Kasi pag tayo nakita na parang static lang na na post na yung parang post lang, minsan hindi natin napapansin. Pero pag moving, syempre nakaka-capture siya ng eyes ng audience. So usually GIFs are good for parang of course capturing customers or like audiences for them to be able to parang view it kasi it would be interesting for them. So yun. So don't use a PSD when you need to post a photo online or send a preview to a client. The web is JPEG friendly. Convert first to make sure your audience can see your image and it won't take several minutes to download. So, hindi siya recommendable as, like, kunyari, kapag na-save mo it doesn't mean na pwede mo na siyang or like i-post. Syempre hindi siya tatanggapin or i-upload mo as a photo. Hindi siya tatanggapin ng most of the websites kasi syempre hindi naman siya JPEG format, which is like like a flat image na. So ito, don't use a PSD when you're ready to print your photos. Many printers won't accept the PSD format, so first convert to JPEG or TIFF. Kasi usually sa mga printers, it's either wala silang Photoshop, pero usually may Photoshop naman sila. Pero syempre, para mapabilis yung trabaho nila sa printing at hindi ka na din maabala, you always save na lang din sa JPEG when you pass sa mga printers. So, yes. Okay? Before moving on sa vector, may questions pa tayo regarding sa raster image file formats? Yung paggawa ng motion graphics sa Adobe Illustrator ang gagamitin. Usually, if you want, like, of course, like vector. Kasi, syempre, After Effects is something, syempre, na high, like, you can do, like, high quality videos. Yeah, I suggest na yung assets or yung i-animate na assets for it would be from Illustrator. Kasi one time meron na kaming project sa government. Dalawa lang kami nag-work pero kasi siya mas magaling talaga siya sa vector na paggawa ng assets. So ako yung nag-animate or like nagko-construct ng flow. So, yun ang recommended. Kasi para, madali siya i-scale yung, yung mga assets mo for animating. So, yung mga, motion graphics, like yung mga infographics sa web or videos, usually, ingay ng dog ko. Usually, vector talaga ang ginagamit para hindi siya mag-pixelate when you animate. So, siya talagang per layer yung kunyari character siya, yung head, yung arms, yung legs, per layer talaga siya para ma-move siya sa After Effects. Nako, nagwawala na naman yung dog ko. Pasensya na, guys. So, yun ang wait. So, yun usually yung kailangan format for, like, doing motion graphics. And, like, yung mga animated, yung mga infographics na animated na napapansin nyo. Siguro, itatakal natin yan next time kapag siguro magta-transition na tayo sa After Effects. Kasi, yun din pero ngayon, we're gonna focus sa Photoshop kasi sobrang dami pang need i-tackle and I know we have limited time and once a week lang tayo nagmi-meet and I want everyone to be equipped at least so para hindi lang kayo ayoko din naman na nagtuturo ako na parang ito lang, yan lang so and then you don't understand yung essence being like a graphic designer or a graphic artist. So yun, importante yung foundation din. And kasi easy na mag-research when it comes to, of course, like, improving yourself sa Photoshop. So, yan. Pero ito yung mga stepping stones nyo. Yung mga tinuturo ko is like a stepping stone for you guys to be able to, yung may idea na kayo when it comes to graphic design. So, yan. Okay? Okay na ba tayo? We're ready na sa vector naman. So, here naman, vector images are digital artwork in which points, lines, and curves are calculated by the computer. They essentially giant math equations. and every equation can be assigned a color, stroke, or thickness, among other styles, to turn the shapes into art. Unlike raster images, vector images are resolution independent. When you shrink or enlarge a vector image, your shapes get larger, but you won't lose any detail or get any pixelation, because your image will always render identically no matter the size. There is no such thing as a lossy or lossless vector image type. So which is yun nga yung sinabi ko na when it comes to animating in After Effects, if it's like an animated what do you call this? If it's not like a hand-drawn animation, usually vector like assets yung ginagamit para scalable siya. Hindi siya kasi pag JPEG, mahihirapan kayo i-retain yung quality nung maging itsura niya. So vector like AI files yung tina-transfer sa After Effects usually. So vector. So yan guys, alamin na ang difference ng raster and vector. So, yan. Vector images are typically used for logos, icons, typesetting, and digital illustrations. Adobe Illustrator is the industry standard image editor that is used to create, design, and edit vector images, though it can also incorporate raster images as well. Pwede ka naman mag-import doon, pero usually, if you want to trace something, like itong first sample natin, ito gawa siya sa vector, sa Illustrator. So, yung uso yan yung mga pa-portraits, may nagpapagawa ng mga ganyan. So, as you can see, parang, siya yung solid shapes, pero, in a way, pinag-blend yung tone ng colors para mukha siyang realistic. Pero hindi siya pixels, 'di ba? So sobrang solid nung artwork kasi hindi siya pixels. And then here sa yung usually mga ganito na mga backgrounds na mga solid backgrounds, if they want it to be like high quality talaga, and mas okay sa ginagawa siya sa Illustrator para solid talaga. Kapag ni-resize mo, easy lang siya i-resize. So, any size na image na gusto mo, if it's like something na, kunyari, as a poster, ganun, gusto mo i-gawin siyang poster, itong artwork na to, pwede mo siya i-resize kasi vector siya. And then, kunyari, gusto mo lang siyang parang maliit na size, madali na lang din siya i-resize. And then, dito sa logo, yan, recommend ko vector instead na Photoshop ka gagawa. Siguro at least kung gagawa ka ng mock-up, I guess Photoshop kung gusto mo madalian. Pero if you want to pass something sa client mo na high quality and they can easily resize, or you can give them like different variants of sizes of their logos, mas maganda sa Illustrator gawin para hindi ka na mahirapan, alam mo yun, mag-resize kasi solid na siya pag ni-resize mo ng kahit anong size pa yan. Pero sobrang bigat nun. Sobrang bigat ng file na kapag sobrang laki. Pero scalable naman ang mga vector image kasi yung kinakalculate kasi yun ng computer na para hindi siya mag-pixel. So, yun. Next, vector file formats. PDF, EPS, dalawa tuloy yung EPS. SVG and AI. So, yan. So, apat lang. PDF, EPS, SVG, and AI. Na sobra. And then, to. First off, sa vector na file formats, is a PDF. PDF stands for Portable Document Format and is an image format used to display documents and graphics correctly. No matter the device, application, operating system, or web browser, at its core, PDF files have a powerful vector graphics foundation, but can also display everything from raster graphics to form fields to spreadsheets. Because it is a near universal standard, PDF files are often the file format requested by printers to send a final design into production. Both Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator can export straight to PDF, making it easy to start your design and get it ready for printing. So, yun. Sino yung familiar dito sa PDF? Kasi alam ko, this is a very common document or like a file format. Sino familiar sa inyo? Ano yung, give me an example na alam nyo as like a PDF file format. Infographics? Yon, e-books daw. Tama. E-books. Yon. Then, ano pa? Like, nakapansin nyo. Scanned image. There you go. Ano pang example? Resume? Yun. 'Di ba? Yun din, pag nagsisend tayo ng CV or resume, usually, syempre, ano na ngayon, 'di ba, digital. Hindi na tayo paper. So, PDF usually yung format na kino-convert yung, kunyari, nag-scan tayo and then gagawin siya PDF format. Word file, pwede din siya maging PDF. Talaga, report cards din, PDF na din. I'm getting old. Dati paper pa ang report cards, ngayon ano na, PDF na pala ngayon. Yun, 'di ba yung mga spreadsheets yan. Pinaka-common PDF, 'di ba? Kunya cards sa applications, sa mga government na IDs, ganyan, PDF na din. Certificates, yun. 'Di ba madami siyang uses. So, kung kunyari hingi din sa'yo si client ng portfolio and I guess wala ka pang website, maganda din yung PDF as your form of portfolio. So you can para bang collate or your images sa PDF file. Yan, yung mga files din to be printed. Yan. So, ano siya? Talagang ito yung pinaka format that is commonly used. Talaga, meron na din sa utility bills. Nice. So, common na talaga si PDF. So, you should use a PDF when you're ready to print. As we mentioned, many printers prefer PDF as their primary delivery format because it is so ubiquitous. Hindi ko alam ba yan? That term. So, yan. Check with your printer to see how they'd like you to prepare your file. So, yun. Pag mapapaprint kayo, guys, ask your printers, or at least if you're what do you call this, if you want to print something sa print shop, check with them if ano yung preferred nilang file format para hindi din hassle sa inyo, 'di ba? Hindi time consuming. And then you want to display documents on the web. You wouldn't use a PDF for a single icon or logo, but it's great for posters, flyers, magazines, and booklets. PDFs will keep your entire design in one package, making it easy to view, download, or print. So, I use PDF too. If, kunyari, meron kayong ginagawan na client na branding, example, I recommend everyone to make like a brand Bible. Kasi siguro yung iba, hindi nila alam kung paano yun. So, gagawa lang ng logo, tapos na. Pero, I recommend that you give your clients like a brand Bible. So, they would know yung paano nila gagamitin yung logo nila. And, you can compile yung information na yun sa PDF. So, when you send it, parang booklet siya. So, they would see, ganito pala i-use yung, So, PDF is a format din when you use like, yun nga, when you give your portfolios, yung booklets, like brand Bible. So, pakita ko sa inyo yung works ko later. Kasi, kanina, may nag-ask sa akin about logo. So, hindi ko pa nasagot kasi may class eh. So, yun. Feel free lang to ask me after like class or like hindi pa week ng or day ng class natin para Kasi may mga questions na hindi ko talaga ma-answer during the class. So, okay lang sa akin that you would ask outside the class. So, I entertain questions. So, wag kayo mahiya. So, don't use a PDF when you need to edit your design. PDFs are great containers but use other applications for the contents. You can edit raster images with Photoshop and vector graphics with Illustrator. When you're done, you can combine those into a PDF for easy viewing. So, yun. Kapag, usually kasi, pwede din siyang format na nakakompile yung mga images niya. And then, kapag galing sa Photoshop and then ginawa siyang PDF, usually, nare-retain niya yung yung mga layers or like images na ginamit doon sa design na yon, and then you can pick out kung anong images na gusto mong gamitin. So, easy siya i-transfer sa Photoshop. So, usually, may mga ganun may mga flyers na PDFs. Tapos, mayroon certain photo lang na need na gamitin. Out of that, pag may binigay sa inyo si client, check nyo din kung compatible siya sa Photoshop. Like, editable siya. Usually, pwedeng makuha yung mga images doon. So, yun. Yun din yung use niya. Pero, hindi siya pwede to, like, edit lang yung design. So, usually, ano na siya, parang flat, pero you can pick off lang yung mga images, pero hindi na siya editable. Yun lang yung ano. So, don't use that. So, PSD pa rin talaga yung pinaka-top when it comes to trying to edit your designs. So, ito, next. Ito din, common to sa pag-download when you use, kung familiar kayo sa Freepik and Vector sa Freepik, EPS is a common file format. So, EPS is an image format that stands for Encapsulated PostScript. Although it is used primarily as a vector format, an EPS file can include both vector and raster image data. Typically, an EPS file includes a single design element that can be used in a larger design. So, ito, typically used sa, sa mga templates, mga nada-download sa Freepik. EPS, kapag na-encounter yung EPS, ano to? Saan to nabubuksan? So, usually nabubuksan siya sa Illustrator. Mas maganda sa Illustrator siya ibuksan. Kasi, nadadrag mo yung mga elements much easier. Yun sa logo din. Okay din yun. So, you should use an EPS when, yun nga, you need to send a vector logo to a client, designer, or a printer. With an EPS file, you don't have to worry about where the logo will be placed or printed. No matter the size, it will always appear at the correct resolution. So, meron kasing EPS file na it can be editable, pero since syempre ayaw mo ibigay yung AI file mo kasi yun yung editable version niya for vectors, EPS file yung sinesend para easier para sa client to resize and for the printers to resize din. So, either for me, like, kung for print siya, EPS. Pero pag, kunyari, pag mga web na, what you call this, for web, EPS yung hindi dapat. So, yeah. PNG, usually ginagamit ko for, like, logos na i-resize nila for web posts. Ayun. So, don't use an EPS when you're dealing with photographs or artwork. EPS can handle raster images, but this type of image file is primarily for vectors. Work with the PSD TIFF or JPEG when you have a photo project. So, don't use an EPS when you need to display an image online. Export to JPEG, PNG, or GIF first. So, yun. EPS for, like, yung mga vector logos, yung for printing. Usually for printing. But, you can encounter this file format when it comes to templates. Like, you can download from Shutterstock or Freepik. So, yan. Vector file format siya. So, SVG naman stands for scalable vector graphics and is an XML-based vector image for two-dimensional graphics. It can be searched, indexed, scaled, and compressed, and can result in smaller sizes than other file formats, which makes it ideal for web. SVG files can be edited in graphic editing programs as well as text editors. So ito, usually ko to na-encounter sa work ko since we do like prints kasi and also social media posts. Hindi naman kami masyado nag mag-cater sa web. So yun. Pero may naging client ako na more on sa web. So when we were like dealing with images, and sinesend ko siya as SVG kasi ilalagay daw niya sa website. So, usually yun yung hinihingi nila for like a logo. Usually, can you send yung SVG file format niya? Kasi, I will put it on the website. So, yun, usually SVG is for web. Pasensya na kayo sa dog ko, di ko alam ano meron. So, yun. Moving on. You should use SVG when you want to create computer-generated graphs and diagrams for publishing on the web. And then, yun nga, you want to create computer-generated graphs and diagrams for publishing on the web. So, yun talaga use ng SVG. Hindi siya for like social media post. If naisip nyo, pang web naman siya eh. So, SVG, pang ano lang talaga, website. Like website na graphics usually. And then, don't use SVG when you need the file format for a print workflow. So, hindi siya for print. So, yun ang use niya. For web ang SVG. Not for print. So, yun ang keep in mind. Daming SVG sa web development po, 'di ba? Yun ang usual na file formats for web kasi talaga. So, yes. So, okay pa tayo, guys? Kaya pa ba ng natin, ng brain cells? alam ko marami. At least parang trying to absorb the knowledge. Pero you can always check it out sa What Did I Miss? So, yeah. If na-overwhelm kayo, guys, it's okay. I know like everyone has their own pace naman. So, yes. Pag after na to, I can answer some questions. So, malapit na tayo sa tapos ng tackling ng vector. So, AI. So, ito. AI is a proprietary vector image format that stands for Adobe Illustrator. The format is based on both the EPS and PDF standards developed by Adobe. Like those formats, AI files are primarily a vector-based format, though they can also include embedded or linked raster images. AI files can be exported to both PDF and EPS files for easy reviewing and printing. And also JPEG, PNG, GIF, TIFF, and PSD for web use and further editing. So, yun. Guys. I know hindi pa tayo sa Illustrator, pero at least familiar kayo sa mga, sa raster image file format and vector image file format. In case you encounter this kind of file formats, at least may idea na kayo. Ay, yan pala yung AI. Diba? So, here. So, here yung example ng Illustrator na program. So, kung makikita nyo, it's very, 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 same lang din sa Photoshop. But, ang pinagkaiba lang nila is some tools here, and then yung mga layerings, and marami siyang more on like illustrating. So, ito, nandito sa diagram na to, Illustrator is vector graphics editor. For logos, for mascots, yung siguro may cartoonish na mascots, and then icons, Like, if you want like a customized icons, kunyari sa social medias, usually sa ginagawa din dito sa AI para scalable siya. So, easy to scale. Hindi kagaya if gagawa ka sa Photoshop, may limit lang yung pag-scale ng mga icons mo. One-page documents. So, usually, ginagawa ko din yung, kunyari yung mga creative na curriculum vitae, yung mga CV. Meron nga, uso na ngayon yung ganun sa mga graphic designers, yung mga creative na may design na mga CV. So, usually, maganda dito din siya i-create para pag transfer or at least kinonvert mo siya as PDF, high quality yung itsura niya. So, yun. Also, like mga typography, ganun, dito ginagawa para madali siyang i-scale. So, you should use an AI when you need to edit a vector design. AI files allows you to move and alter every single element in your design with just a click or two. Sa mga vector shapes kasi, meron siyang mga parang mga nodes, mga points. So, next time i-tackle natin kapag nasa Illustrator na tayo. Kasi, syempre, mahaba tayo. Pero yun, you can easily manipulate yung shapes doon kasi meron siyang mga paths and nodes to adjust. So, you can easily edit it. And then, you should use an AI when you need to create a logo, icon, or brand mascot. Every vector shape and line created in Illustrator can be blown up to any size. Yung take note, any size daw. Which makes it ideal for images that need to be used in many different ways. Yun nga, at dito na nga, na-highlight na dito, logos, diba? Or brand mascot. Para it's easier to resize in any way. Like syempre, yung sa mga businesses, diba, may mga packaging, recommended talaga mga vectored siya para hindi mahirapan yung sa pagprint kung kakalabasan ba yan or pixelated, ganun. Yun sabi. If you love daw yung pen tool, this is the software for you, Adobe Illustrator. So, if you want to to learn how to do those vector portraits, ito yung application for that. So, you should use an AI when you want a one-page print piece. Illustrator is perfect for posters, business cards, flyers, and note cards that can be combined with other raster images. So, since, syempre, usually when you, for example, business cards, syempre, pag print mo yun, di ba, small size lang siya. Pero, of course, you will use like a bigger canvas for it para syempre maayos mo yung design. But at least kapag doon ka gumawa ng business card doon, madali na siya i-scale kasi for printing kasi high quality na siya. So, yun, recommended din ang paggawa ng mga business cards doon and yung mga flat na images na for posters, like if it's more on illustrations, yun, maganda yung AI for that. And then, you should use an AI when you need to set type for a logo. Illustrator's typesetting features are incredibly powerful, enabling any text to be stretched, skewed, and transformed and in any way imaginable. So, yun. Halimbawa, meron kang font type or like, kunyari, Gotham, yan. Yung mga common, Gotham, Montserrat. Pero, gusto mo siya parang i-modify para lang sa logo. Kasi, gusto mo yung itsura ng pagka-shape niya. Pero, gusto mong i-modify pa siya para maging unique siya as a logo. Yun, pwede siyang i-edit dito sa AI. So, pwede mong kung ano man yan, yung gusto mo maging labas ng logo mo na text type lang, pwede mo siya i-modify sa Illustrator easily. So, yun use ng AI. And then, don't use an AI when you need to edit images. If a raster image, photo, or artwork is being used in a composition, Illustrator has a limited number of tools to edit that image directly. Photoshop or PSD files can make more comprehensive adjustments like color, contrast, and brightness. So, guys, you cannot edit like raster images. I mean, you cannot edit in a way that Photoshop can edit like photos in AI. So, usually AI lang used for, of course, like if you want to trace something like outline something, like minsan may mga artworks na mga outline ng mga cars, ganun na artwork, or like mga portraits na vector based. So yun lang siya for creating siya like solid vector based artwork. So hindi siya pang edit ng pang manipulate ng photos. So yan, easy to distinguish naman yan. So yan, end of presentation. Makakapagod, sure. So, ano, may questions ba kayo regarding sa mga file formats? Sige, go lang. Put it in chat kung may questions kayo. Then, I'll, demo for a bit on how to, to, like, save images. Yes? Yes po. Mm-hmm. 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 Usually, um, usually, hindi. Pero, yun nga, pag, if you want to view it, mas okay lang, like JPEG. Kung hindi naman siya super large scale format. Kasi, minsan lang dahil sa, yung iba talaga sobrang laking billboards. And they want to edit it on, like, Photoshop, TIFF talaga. Pero, JPEG okay lang naman. Depending sa size. Mia. Depends, pero pa rin, ask pa rin yung printers niyo kung anong file formats nila para hindi din hassle sa inyo. So, usually kasi JPEG or like PDF, minsan they can accept PSD din para sa para minsan sila na nag-optimize nun. Pero yun, you can ask naman yung printer. Ang SVG sa Illustrator lang din po ba pwede open? Pwede din naman sa Photoshop. Depende, yun din, capability ng printer. Question po, bakit kapag sinsave ko yung gawa ko lumalabo or siya o pangit yung quality niya? What kind of parang, ito, example ko. Depende sa pag-save mo or yung canvas mo mismo. Kasi usually, ito, when I edit like this kind of ads, so ginawa ko siyang parang simple lang. Wala na si ate girl. So, always check. So, sa Photoshop, di ba sa main menu or sa menu niya, sa menu bar, sa images, always check yung image size. Dito mo makikita yung resolution. So, usually, of course, pag mas mababang resolution, pag sinisave mo talaga siya, low quality. So, ang standard is, when you create ads, usually 300. Pero, pag for printing kasi, depende sa size. Ako, nare-resize ako ng mga, like, 4 feet by 8 feet, mga tarps, banners, minsan meters pa nga eh. Usually, I set it as 72 for when I resize it on Photoshop, or at least when I save it, kasi mahihirapan yung computer nyo mismo din sa scale na yun, kasi syempre it's trying to create more pixels para hindi siya mag-pixelate. Pero kasi since print lang naman yun, sa malayo hindi talaga siya halatang sobrang pixelated. So kahit mababa yung resolution niya for printing, okay lang. Yan, 100 to 300 resolution. Yan, DPI. Pero recommended ko 300. Pero okay lang naman 150. If hindi kinakaya. Minsan kasi may mga computer na hindi kinakaya yung 300. And depende pa yun sa size or like, kunyari, inches or pixels nung canvas mo. So, yan, usually ganyan. Mga file for edit din, finish na po yung photo or work. I-convert na for the client once. Yes, pero if ang recommendation ko, if samples pa lang yung ibibigay nyo, much better na lagyan nyo ng watermark para hindi nakawin ng client and at least low quality yung image. Para lang for viewing lang. Kasi to protect din yung gawa ninyo. Kasi may marami din, syempre excited kayo, 'di ba, na pag sa mga client work, kapag nagawa nyo to, syempre may babayaran kayo, meron kayong kikitain. Pero always keep in mind na always protect your works. Put like watermarks, probably your name, kahit what do you call this? Kahit yung, kunyari, ako, Lee. Kunyari, Coach Lee. Tapos minsan, ano lang ako, white. Yan. Tapos, white na font. Minsan, gaganyan ko lang yan eh. Tapos, babaan ko yung opacity niya para lang siya maging watermark. To protect your work lang. And then, pag magsasave kayo, okay guys, ito, saving na, converting your file. So, file, save as, dapat save as, para kasi save as, anong format. And then, yan, di ba lalabas siya? And usually, pag nag-save as ka, automatically, si Photoshop, PSD agad. So, ang ganda kasi, syempre, pag, kunyari, nagmamadali ka, and then, at least, magsasave siya automatically as editable file. Yan, di na makasalita. Char. Tapos, yun. So, ito na yung file name nyo, and then, save as type, then, pag click nyo, may drop-down menu, yan na. Marami na siyang formats, makikita nyo. Maraming dito hindi na naman important, pero, so, ito, nakikita nyo, large document format. Ito, usually, automatically si Photoshop, nagsasabi naman siya kapag sobrang laki na ng size or scale nung canvas mo. Nag-automatic naman siya nagsasabi na save as large document format. So, ito usually sa mga TARPs kasi. So, at least si Photoshop, alam niya yung capacity nung ginagawa mo. So, large document format yung ginagamit for like bigger sizes like tarps, banners, ganun. So, dito din makita nyo, so, pag nakita nyo Photoshop EPS, so, marami din versions, pero hindi ko din masyado ginagamit. Yan. So, don't mind yung other formats kasi hindi naman yan masyadong commonly used. So, nakikita nyo din dito yung GIF, and then JPEG. So, may JPEG 2000. Maraming mga, other formats of JPEG. Pero ito naman yung usual, JPEG. And then, dito din, may PDF, Photoshop PDF. May RAW. Doon nga sa sinasabi natin na, if you want to put it or convert it to, like, Lightroom, yan, pwede din yung RAW. I-convert din. For most commonly, this is for photos. Tapos, PNG dito din. And then, ito, nandito din yung TIFF. Ito yung iba, don't mind na lang kasi hindi naman siya related sa, natin, course, para bang sa graphic design. So, pero, kasi Photoshop is commonly used for a lot of things, like 3D, they put, dito din ginagamitan nila ng yung mga 3D textures, like pinipaint nila gamit Photoshop, tapos transfer nila sa character nila sa pag 3D. Ganun yung gamit din ng Photoshop. So, may mga file formats here that is for 3D. So, yun. So, when you save as JPEG, kunyari yan, JPEG, dami kong save. So, save. Okay. Wag natin replace. So, sample. Ganyan ako mag-save ng file. So, pag click save, may lalabas na na dialogue. Nasaan na? Yan. So, sabi dito, JPEG options. Um, if gusto na ni client maximum quality, pwede naman save to maximum. Pero if you want like a preview lang, um, you can set it like sa low lang naman. Low quality. So, click OK lang. Tapos magsisave na siyang ganyan. Pero usually, what I do, siniscreenshot ko na lang siya. Parang ganun. Nyari, itong clipping tool. Usually, ganun na lang ginagawa ko. Kasi since yung resolution ko dito is 300, of course, nire-retain niya pa rin yung quality. So, usually, malaki pa rin yung file size niya. So, usually, pag nagpapakita ko ng work, in-screenshot ko na lang siya. And then, if final na, dun ko na lang sinesend yung mismong image niya. So, put watermark and make the resolution lower to 72 or screenshot. Yun. Tama, si Karina. Coach, ano po mas recommend nyo na unit, Windows na laptop or Mac? Depende kung saan ka comfortable. If comfortable ka sa Mac, kaya naman ng Mac yung Photoshop. And usually, the reason why yung iba is Mac yung ginagamit for Photoshop, kasi yung screen ng Mac is optimized talaga yung color niya. Kung ano nakikita mo sa color, yun yung nakikita mo sa print. Usually ganun. Optimized yung screens ng Mac for those talaga, like graphic designing. Kaya usually may sa mga creative agencies, they have Windows, they have Mac, pero usually pag sa mga prints, Mac talaga ginagamit. Ako, Mac yung ginagamit ko sa work eh. So, yun guys. And if ever that you want to save a PNG image, so here guys if you want, kunyari si Great Gadget Sale, parang ilalagay mo siya sa maraming kunyari para siyang logo ng ano mo. Tapos ilalagay mo siya sa mga photos ng items, ganun. Ginagawa ko, tina-turn off ko lang yung ibang layers. In a way, sana. So, di masyado kita, pero, ayan. Gawin natin siyang red. Para kita. So, pag remove mo yung background, automatically, naka-register na siyang transparent. Yan. So, change ko yung color. Yan. Automatically, transparent na siyang background. So, yung checkerboard na background, meaning, yung kung ano man yung nakapatong dyan, wala siyang background. So, when you save this as PNG, kasi pag JPEG, kunyari, save natin as JPEG, for example lang. Save natin as JPEG, sample. Then, hintayin natin, kasi nag-load pa siya. Ayan, kita nyo, automatically, nagkakaroon siya ng white background. Kasi JPEG siya. Kasi hindi niya na-recognize as transparent siya na image. So, automatic white. So, yun yung, difference. And then, pag PNG naman, you can save as, and then, drop down, PNG. Kanyari, sample. Wala naman siyang same. So, yan. Meron siyang papakita. File size, large file size, fastest saving, medium file size, medium saving, smallest file size, slowest saving. Parang, tinatry niyang i-optimize yung image mo. That's the reason why nagpapapili siya. So, yung quality ng image mo. So, okay, let's say okay lang kay client large file size. So, when you open this, where's my yan. Yung window ko. So, napapansin nyo, ito, transparent na siya. May red ba dito? Transparent na siya. So, pag drinag ko siya sa Photoshop, ayan. Wait lang natin, load. Oh, kasi same size siya, parang, ha, ano nangyari? Parang wala naman. Pero nandyan siya, yung PNG. Yan. 'Di ba? So, if you want to work on, like, kunyari, mga icons or logos, um, you can always convert it as PNG para madali na siyang ilagay. So, yan. Wala siyang background. Usually, mga contact bands, yung mga social media na bands, yan. O, pwede nyo din siyang gawing PNG. Kunyari, scale nyo siya as this size, and then you can save as PNG. So, salpak lang sa kahit anong post. At least, hindi ka na magta-type or maglalagay ng, kunyari, ilalagay mo pa yung icons, ta-type mo pa. So, at least, nakasave na siya as your permanent contact band. Okay? So, yun. And, since ano na din, medyo naging late na, if kakayanin, next week would be yung integrating yung templates sa Photoshop, and feeling ko kasi walang time for GIF. So probably that's another topic kasi at least yung when I tackle yung Illustrator na kahit yung basics lang para ma-use nyo yung templates sa Photoshop, I'm gonna like demonstrate how to use yung EPS files for you to be able to create ads with like vector assets that you can download for free sa Freepik. So, ayun. So when you save, yan lang naman. Save as. So you can, check yung mga available file na formats. Pero, when it comes to PNG din, you can save it in two like na options. So, control control shift control shift S yung shortcut niya. Control shift S. There. So, yan, save for web. So, nakalagay dito dalawang options for PNG. Either yung sa GIF din, pwede din dito mag-save. And then sa yung JPEG din, pwede din dito mag-save for web. So, dito, you can change yung PNG. Pero napansin nyo, di ba? Pag pinili nyo PNG 8, parang may ano siya, di ba? Yung colors niya, hindi siya naka-optimized. Kasi, onti lang yung nare-recognize niya na color. Pero, mas mababang file format to. Pero if you want like a high quality PNG 24. Yan, 'di ba? Compared sa dito. And then sa dito. Pero usually napansin ko yun sa mga ads na sa websites, usually naka PNG na ganito. Para kasi hindi siya mabigat for websites. So that's how you save yung save for web. Yun. Then you click save. Then magpo-pop up yung dialog where to save the file. So usually yun naman. Pero ang ginagawa ko PNG 24 for posts talaga eh, para high quality talaga siya. So if dito, yun yung aking shortcut for that. Control Shift Alt S. Control Shift Alt S. Allowed din po ba kami mag-record ng class? Hindi kasi meron naman kasing what did I miss. Tsaka at least yun maka-cut down ko din. Ine-edit ko din yung yung class ko para hindi siya masyado mahaba pag may mga sobrang daming questions. Pero yun. So Yes, yan yung ating lesson for today. At least, meron kayong knowledge about file formats since essential kasi talaga yun sa graphic design. At least, familiar na kayo sa ma-encounter nyo in the future or at least like now, you know how to save your files na. Yes, yun daw. Um, So, if may questions kayo, I can entertain some questions pa naman. Regarding if you want some, yung, hindi naman regarding sa topic na to, pero sa graphic design, since yung iba hindi ako nakakontact or at least nahihiya, pero you can ask naman. Um, may minimum specification po ba sa PC for full-time graphic design? Ako kasi, since I edit videos, mahal kasi ang Intel eh. Intel i7, 'di ba? Ang usually for editing. Pero ako kasi AMD kasi yung gamit ko eh. Ryzen 7. So parang katumbas na siya pero mas cheaper siya sa Intel. So Ryzen 7 ang gamit ko for editing kasi nag-video edit din ako eh. And usually mas maganda if mataas yung RAM mo for video editing. Pero kahit naman mga i5, okay lang naman yun. For lang naman, kung Photoshop lang naman, hindi naman need masyadong required na sobrang ano. Basta, um, mga recent generations and yung RAM ninyo, mabilis. At least, kapag switch kayo na applications, hindi nahihirapan yung computer niyo. So, 8 gig, okay lang naman. Per 16 gig ako yung gamit ko eh. Sa saving, mas sanay ako sa legacy. Save for the web. Yes. Okay din. Hi, Coach. Can you give us an insight about export function in PS? Is it better than just saving as? Yung export function. Meron kasi quick export as PNG or export as. So, dito at least, kita mo yung sizing. Pwede din naman ganun. Pero if you want like a quick preview of your image na isa-save, maganda din siya. If you're just quick na alam mo naman, sure ka naman, pwede din naman yung save as function. So, pwede naman export. So, ito lang mas more detailed na what you call this? Na format to see yung magiging labas ng image mo. Coach, is it important na iset mo muna yung image size before mag-start ng graphic project? I mean, if for web image yung project, dapat ganito yung size mo na. For magpasok na elements, yes. Kasi, mas okay if, for me, mas okay if bigger canvas. At least, yung sakto lang naman. So, if you resize it to much smaller scale, at least, maganda yung quality niya. Kasi kapag nag-start ka na as yung scale lang nung required, edi mahirap na siyang i-adjust. At least kapag ganun, pag larger scale, at least madali siya i-adjust yung design mo. Hindi ka din mahirapan mag-zoom. 'Di ba? Like this one, kasi 1,000, minsan pa nga, pag sa mga post na ganito, 2,000 by 2,000 pixels, yung mga square ads. Pero if you want to give na sa client, kahit 1,000 by 1,000, ganun. Pixels para hindi ganun ka-large size. Kasi usually sa web, pag masyado na mataas sa over 1,000, parang syempre, hirap na din. If designing web pages using PS, ano pong usual size ang ginagamit? Ang gamit, yung resolution ng typical na monitor. Usually ganun. Or yung sa web. Usually, like 1280 by 720 yung ginagamit ko nun eh. Yun naman kasi yung usual na resolution ng mga monitors eh. Yun, pag mga mock-up lang naman. So, Photoshop din pala makagawa ng convert ng PNG. Yes, PNG din. Coach, paano nyo po nagawa yung contact band? Nakasave na siya as PNG. Ito, sa akin, editable pa to. Pero, pwede mo din siya i-save as PNG. Kunyari, gagawa ka ng raw neto na editable. And then, you can save it as PNG para madali na lang i-place yung contact bands mo sa mga post. Kasi kunyari mag-edit ka, tapos ayaw mo na buksan yung Photoshop document mo na isa. Kasi minsan mabigat yung pagdalawa yung binubuksan mong document, tapos ililipat mo yung certain layer sa isang Photoshop document. At least, pag may PNG ka na nakasave, dadrag mo na lang. If designing, okay, coach, okay. Ano yung tinatawag na dead file at live file? Hindi pa ako naka-encounter noon. Ma-research nga para masagot din yun. Pero hindi pa ako naka-encounter ng ganun na klase sa job ko. So, apologies. I cannot answer yung question, but yeah, that's interesting. So, ma-research nga din yun. So, yun. Mayroon pa bang questions para at least di na tayo magtatagal at least nasagot ko na ba yung mga questions ng bawat isa? Meron pa ba? And then, yeah, if wala na, I'll send my review link, and I suggest then if you have like certain topics that you want to be tackled then sa class, and I'm gonna do my best to, of course, incorporate those as a foundation to those who are like aspiring graphic designers, graphic artists. So, yan. Pwede po ba mo maging apprentice mo? Pwede naman. So, ayan nga guys, if you have if you're working in a client na. So, may nagsabi sa akin last time, nakakatuwa, hindi ko na i-disclose yung name niya, pero sabi niya, nakakatuwa kasi nakakuha na daw siya na-hire daw siya, and nakatulong daw yung turo ko sa kanya. So, yeah, thank you kasi na-appreciate ko yung mga ganun. At least nalaman ko may bunga din pala yung pagtuturo ko sa Quick Pro. So, congrats. Alam ko nandito siya. Ay. So, congrats sa'yo. UID talaga sa Genshin, sir. Sige, sa tayo, sa gaming na lalagay ko mamaya. Pag hindi ko nakalimutan. About layers, coach, sana naman topic, minsan hindi ko po kasi maintindihan. Kung yung nandun na ba sa Quick Pro website, hindi ko pa kasi na-review So, if may questions ka regarding dun sa lesson na yun, you can DM me. Huwag kayo mahiya to direct message me on Discord. Minsan lang talaga late ako mag-reply, pero I'm doing my best to cater to everyone if you have questions. So, dami natutunan. Thanks, guys, and I appreciate those. Coach, may required standard list po ba kayo for any canvas sizes and resolutions? Yun nga So, sige, I'll list down yung mga usual na sizes. So, I'll do that, and I'll post it sa graphic design na channel. So, it will help you guys kung ano yung parang usual na ginagamit for like ganito, yan, mga square ads. Ginagawa ko is 1000 by 1000 pixels for square ads, and then 300 resolution para lang scalable lang siya. And also, yun nga pala, nakalimutan ko guys, if you want to change yung color format, you can go to mode yung image, and then you can choose like CMYK color. Pero itong mga bits na channel, usually sa colors lang to, pero okay lang naman 8 bits. Hindi naman need sobrang high quality, pero yan usual naman yun. So yes, okay ba guys? May natutunan ba tayo? And don't forget to leave a feedback sa aking Google form so I would know din yung progress ko, and I'm doing my best for everyone to yun nga to share yung knowledge ko in a way that yung pace din mas okay kasi alam ko we all have different paces in learning, and I know I cannot in a way hindi kasi tayo pwede magtagal ng sobra sa classes natin, but yes, and I hope that you learned a lot today, and it will help you somehow na at least familiar na kayo sa file formats kasi important talaga yun eh. Kasi marami din nagkakamali sa mga file formats when it comes to doing artworks. Ano pong ibig sabihin ng RGB? Red, green, blue. Yun, red, green, blue. So, yes, guys. Kung wala ng questions, I'll see you again next week. And hopefully, ma-upload ko agad to sa YouTube later. Kasi ginagawa ko talaga siya after yung recording. So, have a great week ahead of you guys. And, yung, post ko na lang yung homework after or like tomorrow. Gusto ko lang ma-practice yung yung cropping skills ng bawat isa and mag-export as PNG. So, yun ang hint for that. Magbibigay ako ng image that you will crop, and yung mga image na yun, i-convert nyo to a file size, and kailangan PNG yung file format ng labas nyo. So, I'll give, what do you call this? I'll give an image for you to practice yung cropping skills. Kasi, meron pa rin ako napapansin na nahihirapan pa rin dun. So, at least napapractice. So, yan. Thank you, Coach. We learned a lot today. Thank you then, guys, for, giving your time and your attention for this class. And I hope that this will, be a foundation to like be a better graphic designer. And yung mga last na na topic, which is yung layout and composition, kung hindi niyo pa napanood, I'm not sure if naka-upload na sa Quick Pro site, pero yun, at least yun yung maganda pag-aralan nyo din as a graphic designer. Pero yung mga hindi pa nakagawa, pwede pa naman humabol, guys. Okay lang. I can still put like a constructive na criticism. So, hindi ako harsh. Hindi ko sasabihin na, pangit yan. Hindi ko sinasabing ganun. Parang sinasabi ko how to improve. That's always the thing. Improving. Yun lang naman. So, thanks guys. Good night sa inyo lahat. FB name talaga. Thank you guys. Yun. Looking forward din sa mga pagpapasa ng homework. So, yun. Meron pa ako hindi nare-respond, pero, sorry, na-busy lang. Pero yun, I was trying my best to respond to everyone naman talaga. So, yes. Streamer page. Sige, post ko dun sa gamers na channel ng Quick Pro later. Okay. Later, ipapost ko yun. So, guys, good night sa inyo. Have a great week ahead of you. I hope to see you again on Sunday night. 8:30 p.m. pa rin naman tayo. So, yes. Appreciate you guys and stay safe and healthy, ha? May curfew na daw, sabi. Ingat-ingat tayo, guys. Di pa tapos ang COVID. Take care. Love ya, guys. Okay, good night. See you. Bye. Peace out. Take care.